Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel where I discourage you from going to college. On this week's episode of ideas that the higher education system doesn't endorse because it doesn't pay their bills, I'm going to tell you why you have to take a gap year this year. As of March 2021, there are 8.1 million job openings. This is due to two factors, and number one is that we're coming out of a pandemic, so a lot of businesses are resuscitating and looking for workers again. And in addition to that, the second component is that COVID has totally shifted the job landscape. The nature of the jobs that are available out there, the nature of industries themselves has changed completely and made way for new jobs that never existed before. So people are looking for individuals who are willing to fill those positions and learn the skills for this completely new job demographic. Now, of course, the market is still competitive, as it's always been. People with college degrees are having a hard time finding a job, but not necessarily for lack of opportunity. There are so many companies reporting difficulties in finding qualified candidates, and part of that is because people with college degrees have already set themselves into a trajectory and have a vision in mind for a career path that may no longer exist or may just be less common than the types of jobs that COVID has paved the way for. Now, if you're either a senior in high school or currently in college, I'm telling you that this is the best year for you to put college on hold and try your hand at the workforce. And this is because this is a unique time for companies to totally re-examine their workforce and the kinds of people that they're looking for. According to LinkedIn, a lot of companies are specifically looking for young entry-level workers who don't have, preconceived notions and who are willing to take a chance on visions and new processes and so on and so forth. So if you're one of these people who doesn't have a college degree, the top 5 industries with the greatest number of entry-level positions are transportation and logistics, healthcare, software and IT services, retail, and consumer goods. The reason that I'm telling you that you should consider just trying your hand at getting a career right off the bat instead of finishing a college degree first is for 2 reasons. Number one, I'm not sure that the job market is going to be this good by the time you graduate college. Again, 8.1 million jobs. That's at an all-time high, and I can't imagine it's going to get any better than that anytime soon. And number 2, your first job out of college, if you will, economically speaking, and this is, reinforced by expert economists and opinions out there, your first job has critical implications for the trajectory of your earnings and your career in general. This, again, is because your first job is the job that's going to allow you to grow as a professional and acquire more skills. And so you want to make sure that you really find a career and a job that's going to let you explore those interests and acquire those skills that you can then take on throughout your career and into other jobs. And furthermore, employers stop asking about your college background after your first job. After your first job, it becomes more important what experience you already have and what skills you've acquired rather than what your college degree looks like. So again, this is the best time to land that first job and one in a career that's going to allow you to get that growth and to get those skills that's going to lead you into your second job more so than a college degree will. Now, I also wanted to touch on some more maybe controversial or less quantifiable reasons why you should try to get into the workforce now. And that's because the workforce is changing socially. COVID obviously shifted the nature of a lot of jobs, specifically from being in-person jobs to being remote jobs, but also put a lot of social strain on a lot of people and made people realize that there are other things that are important to them besides their career. There's a think tank, a millennial think tank that I've seen gaining some popularity, at least in my little corner of YouTube, and that's I no longer aspire to have a career. A lot of YouTubers have been talking about why they don't feel the need to take part in corporate America or capitalist America. I'll link some of my favorite videos down below to give you guys an idea of what this think tank is about. But essentially, A lot of people who were previously in the workforce don't necessarily find value in their jobs. They don't want to continue to define themselves by their careers or by their level of productivity. And they're shifting away from careers that might pay more, that might be more demanding, so that they can focus on things that they deem are more important. Now, if you're like me, you're not burnt out. You haven't spent a ton of time in the workforce. Especially for me, since I didn't go to college, I'm that much less burnt out. I'm excited to see what I can contribute to society and to get my hands on some projects that other people would find value in and other people actually want to see implemented. I'm not at all dismissing that I don't aspire to have a career mentality. I think it's so interesting, and again, I'll link those videos down below. But for me personally, I'm ready to contribute to corporate America, and if you are too, this is your chance to get a foot in the door, because all of those people leaving their corporate jobs are leaving a space for you to fill. And then along the same vein of social change in the workplace, a lot of jobs have switched to either fully remote or partially remote. So even if you don't live in a tech hub or a job hotspot, like say San Francisco or Austin, Texas, you still have access to those jobs with high-paying salaries or with high long-term growth potential, regardless of where you live. And then to delve a little bit deeper into the tech sector specifically, the tech sector is a really popular area to get started in because of the high-paying nature of a lot of its jobs, the ability for you to acquire the necessary skills through a boot camp, for example, instead of going through college. And also for all of the benefits and perks that a lot of people are into when it comes to looking for a job. Now, the tech sector has always been transient in nature, if you will. There's always a really high turnover rate, especially at startup companies. But the great thing about that is that startups are looking for people who may be less experienced, because they know that the trade-off, they're going to pay with experience and they're going to work you really hard and you're going to acquire those skills. That being said, the tech sector is also experiencing a lot of shifting. People are choosing not to go back to their big corporate jobs, again, for aforementioned reasons, or because they themselves are entrepreneurial and they want to have a more hands-on role in determining the new post-COVID job market and just lifestyle in general, and so they've gone on to start their own ventures. But also a lot of people who work in tech are feeling the burnout. COVID was really tough in shifting people to a remote environment, because if they weren't already workaholics before, now they literally have no physical separation between their work and home life. So again, there are lots of openings, lots of shoes to fill in these great, great fields. And again, I don't think that we're going to see this kind of drastic rebirth and reconceptualization again, which is why I'm telling you, this is the year to take a gap year. At best, you get the job of your dreams, you launch your career without going to college, without having debt, and at worst, you just go back to college next year. Again, this is an opportunity that isn't going to come up again, and I cannot reinforce this enough. This is your year to take that leap, to take that gap year. Trust me. All right, that's it for my radical anti-higher education rant. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to check out my video about how to start your career without having a college degree, I'll have it linked somewhere up here. And thank you so much for liking and subscribing for more content like this. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.